How are we doing? 30 seconds of saying nothing, sorry. Just had to check everything was set up right, which I'm assuming it is. I wish there was a better way to do it, I just don't know how. I wish there was a better way. Shut up. Right, episode 4 of my Blackbook series. Had a bit more free time today. And I thought I was going to do this early, but I thought people might not be around, and I was sorting some stuff out on social media, just reposting on social media platforms that I've neglected a little bit, all that stuff. Move some stuff out of the way. Just neatening some stuff up. But today we have got another episode. These episodes seem to be doing okay. What pen am I going to use today? We will use a 0.5, I think. Just randomly deciding. But yeah, these episodes seem to be doing okay. The last one, this sort of tile set one, seems to have done all right. I did a time-lapse drawing yesterday. I was exhausted last night. I nearly didn't do it. I felt absolutely shattered. Again, just one of those days where loads of admin nonsense takes over. But I said, no, stick to it, do it. You'll feel better for doing it. You know, you put that timetable there for a reason. So I got through it. The intention is to do 2 on a Tuesday and Thursday. Either 2 sketchbooks or graffiti, and either a second sketchbook drawing that day or an A6 drawing, because the A6 ones are shorter. But I said to myself, at the bare minimum, get 1 out. Make sure you put it on. Just for the consistency. And I've actually got some positive feedback from it. It was a quick one. It wasn't intentionally, I didn't rush it or anything like that. I just kind of had a simple idea. And it just turned out it just didn't take as long. It was, I think it was barely an hour I spent on it. It didn't take long. Someone straight in there. How are we, viewer? We good? Hope you're right. I got a new subscriber earlier. One of my Instagram followers asked me for my channel, and I'm assuming it's the same person. I think they're, but yeah, shout out to Dreamweaver who subscribed to me, and Pure Vanilla Cookie subscribed a couple of days ago as well. So thank you to both of you for subbing. Any likes and subs always appreciated, to try and help, not just with the channel, but my art in general. And YouTube always seems to be a good place to start. For anyone who ends up watching this in the future, the point of this sort of little series I started is just a sort of run free. I got a sketchbook a while ago for, I think it was a birthday present from myself to myself. And the plan always is, like, when people will know, when you get a sketchbook, you tend to be quite precious with it, especially when you get it for an occasion like your birthday. But then I started not to like some of the ideas, and as is the way you think, I'll get a new sketchbook. Didn't like this one, and that's not the way to do it. It's, you know, you shouldn't be so precious about it. And I did actually get some good ideas kind of born from this sketchbook, and I just thought, well, it's actually a really nice sketchbook to draw in. Is there a way I can use it so it's not going to waste? And one of my sort of weaknesses when I draw is I try and do things too perfectly. So I thought this is the kind of book, this kind of sketchbook that'll help me just kind of be a bit free when I draw. So there's little to no planning for this. It's just be expressive and just draw stuff on the fly. I mean, the one I did, so Monday would have been the other one. I was looking through some of my sort of reference sheets. Like I've got a load of reference sort of sheets for other artists' work to help inspire me, video game footage, screenshots, all that kind of stuff. And one of my favourite games, visually and as a game to play, is Axiom Verge. Was it the same developer who did Super Metroid? And I love the game, but the art style I really like. They seem to have sort of lent into the style of using tile sets. So it's got this sort of sci-fi vibe. Excuse me. Of like laboratory, like labs and things like that, and they've used sort of squares and patterned the squares and repeated it, and it just works really well. And I've played about with it before, but I thought that was a very loose idea I had, and I wanted to try and combine it with something else in this book. Turned out better than I thought. I thought it was going to look a bit rubbish, but which would have been fine. That's the whole point of drawing in this book, just to play about. Like I have got an ideas book, my scrapbook, which is what I use the Monday stream for. But I just thought I'll scribble any old stuff down, but just within the confines of a tile set, just to see what happens. And I may use that to flesh out some more ideas in my scrapbook and then develop it again for a bigger drawing. Who knows? Like, I like this because what I'm doing here, I would never be brave enough to do in my sketchbook, because I'd want it to be a bit too like refined, and I'd want it to be a more specific drawing. And if I'm too free with it, like just in case I mess it up or I don't like it, I never try anything. So it's just another good place to it's just a way of drawing in a different way. Like in my scrapbook, I'll just do anything, or I'll have like the beginnings of an idea which I'll try and flesh out, which is what it's for. But it's not like a complete drawing in my scrapbook. It's always just a part of a drawing, or just the idea of a pattern that I might implement onto a bigger picture, but I never do the full thing. Whereas in this, it's a good opportunity to flesh out ideas as whole completed pieces. So a good example of that would be the first one I did, or the second one, sorry, this one. Like I was playing about with dots and dashes and lines in these first two, and I've been getting really positive feedback from it, just because I just messed about a bit more, I was a bit freer. And it's always good as well. Like, so there are some days where I just can't think of an idea that I really want to do, and I struggle to come up with something. So splitting the days between when I do the time lapses, where I want to get a really nice piece out, and just chilling out with a live stream session, it's just a good way to break up how you draw instead of just making it boring. It's probably more interesting for people who watch it as well. It's like they're watching something different each time. I swear I zoomed you in. the dream is one day, hopefully I can get enough viewers that I can start up Patreon and super chats, all that business, because obviously I'd be doing this regardless, but the goal is obviously trying to make a living from what you love doing. If you don't start, if you don't try, then obviously you'll never know. I always talk about and always have a moan about sort of the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, that I don't understand it fully and blah 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 blah. So I'm always like having a look on sort of help videos, and like some of the advice I've seen, like always say like and subscribe. I don't know, I don't know why that just doesn't. I don't like asking people to do that, because I'm thinking surely you'd know. You don't need me to ram it down your throat. I like doing these as well. It's just a good place to empty your thoughts, ideas. There's an idea that No Name Drafter, hello, and Coob, how are you? Good to see you both. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I had planned. I normally do this at 7, but today's a bit of a free day. Like I didn't have to do any sort of house admin, which I normally have to do on a Wednesday, so I just caught up on posting some work, and I thought, you know what, if I can get the stream in now, it will free me up to do some other bits later. Like I was working on a thumbnail which I finished. It was a thumbnail for this series which I have finished. It's just a simple one. So yeah, I thought I'd do it now. But thank you both for joining. Are you both well? Are you both good? Hope you're having good days. Hope you had good weekends, all that business. Gave your track a listen to earlier, Coop. Really good. Really, really like it. It's exactly the kind of thing I'd put on my sketchbook videos. And the one I listened to today it reminded me of a level in Donkey Kong Country. Kind of had like an underwater level vibe to it. It was really, really nice. I really liked it. I'm recovering from the dentist. Oh yeah, I forgot you were the dentist today. Feeling kind of faint. Other than that, I'm good. Thanks again. No, my pleasure, man. It's a really good track. Yeah, you're a braver man than I. I've been putting off the dentist. I've got to have a tooth out. It's not causing me bother at the minute, but it's one of those where I know I have to go and do it. I don't think it's so much as just having to pull it out. Like, it's the time. I just think, oh, it's setting aside the time to go, because I'd have to do it when the missus is off. So then we'd have to go through, and then it's like, how much recovery time? I'm always thinking, oh, you know, how much time is it going to take me away from drawing and recording and stuff if I've got a schedule now? But it's like, it's not that big a deal. Like, if you've got to go and do something, just go and get it done. But I hope you're okay anyway. The dentist is never pleasant. I have one more wisdom tooth that I need to get rid of, but that'll be mid-2 in a few months. Oof. I do feel for you. I hope you're all right anyway. I hope you're not feeling too bad. I hope it didn't hurt too much, and speedy recovery. My last dentist appointment was not the nicest. I don't have to have it done every time, but the last time I went, they get the sort of jet wash thing to get rid of just some bits of plaque that naturally build up, and normally it's fine, but the last time I went, oh, it felt unpleasant. It didn't hurt a bit, thankfully. Oh, nice one. How's No Name Drafter? Are you good? You having a good day? All that business? Why is that still up? Never mind. Where was I? I need to look on the... It's weird that the way I'm drawing this picture, like I would never draw this in my sketchbook, and I don't know why. I think I'm scared of messing something up. And I probably should. There was a drawing that popped up that I did. It had quite a decent number of views. It was in the hundreds, which at the minute is rare for me. Well, it's non-existent for me. I don't get any sort of videos or streams in the hundreds, but it was a slightly old one, and I really like it. It was black and greys, and they kind of blended in and out of each other, and I'm looking at it thinking, how have I done that? What did I do? And I remember, this is why the scrapbooking thing's important, and I need to take pictures of them, put them on a ref sheet, and I'll do a video on it as well. But I got the idea because I was playing about in my scrapbook. In fact, I might even be able to show you. It was like, it's a drawing that I remember, but I never kind of refer back to it. But when I look at it again, it's like it genuinely is one of my favourites. It's this one. This just popped up on my timeline, and I'm like, oh, I really like that. I really like. It's just a simple idea of blending all my black and grey pens together, and I thought, how have I done that? And then I watched the drawing of it, and I'm thinking I'd be too, I don't know, I'd be too anxious about maybe doing that now. But then I remembered I did a scrapbook sheet on it, and I was like, right, go back to your scrapbook and find it. Because that's happened a few times where I've done a drawing that I've really liked. I've liked the idea of it. And I think, oh, maybe I should, try and develop that out into something even better. And then I'll just completely forget about it. There's been a few that I've done like that, but I'm sure if I just go back and have a look. Fluff. And I also want to mention this last time, really try and make a start on some pixel art pieces. Like, I've been discovering more pixel artists, and they're a joke. They're so good, some of the ones I've found. I forget the name of them, otherwise I'd tell you who they are, but they're so good. I'm like, oh. I'm working on a drawing for my mum. Oh, nice one. Does this thing keep zooming in and out? What's going on here? Let me just zoom it in a bit more. I don't know why it's doing that. There you go. What's the drawing? Is it a graffiti thing? Is it a like a one of these types of drawings that you've done before? Wish I could play some music. I'm writing her name and it's in blue because it's her favourite colour. Yeah, that'll look mint. That'll look really, really good. And thank you for the like, by the way. If it was you, thank you. If it was, well, thank you to whoever it was. Always helps. Also, another reason I wanted to do this a bit earlier is because I did promise my son that we'd watch the next Harry Potter film. It's been ages since I watched them, so I said, yeah, we'll sit down and watch them together. I'm really enjoying them. Never read the books though, and I'm probably never going to either. Films are enough for me. Good reminder, the second like was me. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you to you, and I'm assuming it was No Name Drafter who liked it. Thank you to you both for joining and liking and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of weird, like looking back when like a random drawing popped up. Like I had a video that hit 1,000. Was it 1,500 views? And it wasn't even one of my better drawings, in my opinion. It was fine. Like I thought it was all right. But I'd say that's probably one of my weaker efforts. I don't say weaker, but like looking back and I'm like, yeah, that's all right. It's but definitely not one of my favourite ones. But it's just like, I wonder why that one got loads of traction. I started a Pinterest page as well, because I go on there loads for ideas, and it's like, well, why don't I set an account up? And I get it's just another account I neglected, so I've started posting stuff on there, getting a few hits. Hopefully people will see that and then make their way over to sort of Instagram and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I was looking at paper as well. I need to find, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last stream, but I need to find a decent, some good quality paper to trace over, because I want to sort of start drawing some of these to frame and sell as pictures, but I don't want to do it on dot grid paper. I mean I could, and you know, people might be all right with it, but I just think no, if you're gonna draw a picture to actually sell for somebody to have, you know, whether they sort of hang it up or do whatever it is they do with it, unless I fill or unless I draw like out every single dot, like if I mark out every single dot, which might not work, it's probably best to draw it on plain paper. There's no harm in using dots for guides. Quite liking the way this is turning out, so you might see this appear as a time-lapse drawing, but with a bit more finesse. Not for this, I've just been chatting shit and putting some line down. It's not been as erratic and free flow as the others. It's just me putting in random lines, seeing what happens. Be right back. Starting to get a bit of a cob on, a bit hot. Oof. I'm back. How you doing? I might have to start buying a couple more pens. My .3. Where is it? I was going to use this yesterday for my... I accidentally drew on my table. For my sketchbook yesterday. But the... was it yesterday? Whatever it was. But the nib conked out. So it's like, okay, I'll have to get a new one. Quite like how this is turned out. Again, that's why I like this series. I had absolutely no idea at the start what I was going to draw. Didn't know if I was going to be more, how you would say, expressive or whatnot, but I just thought, no, just put some lines in, see where it takes you. Take a sip of my drink. Yeah, message a minute ago. Yeah, check in my TikTok again, and yeah, every single, the last, how many? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 9, 12, 15, 18. The last 18 TikToks stop dead at around about 250. There's been like 237, 278, 250, 255. I wonder what's going on with that. It just seems really weird that it stops like dead around about that number. Just checking my... all my bits. Continue on. Just having a bit of a breather. What the hell is that line? Don't know what happened there. Said it once, said it 1,000 times. Need to be a bit braver filling in darker spaces. Don't know if I'll do it today. I think I have mentioned it before, where I wanted to maybe write a video series about like what is art, as like a almost like a satirical piece, because I think art can have a reputation of being a bit, I don't know, sort of pretentious sometimes, or snobby, or I don't know, like you've got to have a specific taste in art to appreciate all this sort of stuff. Like the biggest culprit that is the Tate Modern. I would actually like to go back there. I did go there once at college, but let's just say when you're 17-year-old college student, you don't really appreciate it. You've got an eye and an interest in other activities, shall we say, that involve alcohol and all that business. Like some of it I don't get, like I think I said before, I'm sure I'm repeating myself on all these streams, but the cow cut in half thing, I'm not sure what that's all about, but I don't know. Just be an interesting kind of, wouldn't just be modern art, like the first video in this series would be like just art as a concept. What is it? What does it mean? What can you define as art? I heard art being described as having absolutely no point other than no point to it other than itself. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'd have to think about it. But interesting nonetheless. Interesting to me, at least. Trying to figure out what art is, what defines art. The idea of that came from that comment I had. I mentioned it in the Monday stream, where somebody said that a graffiti piece I'd drawn wasn't graffiti. And I was fine with the comment. Like, I don't think it was done maliciously or anything like that. But it just made me think, like, what is defined as graffiti art? And I thought, I might research this then. And I just expanded that idea out to, well, why not? Why not explore what the definition of art is? It could be an interesting thing to do, and as well, just trying to think of other ideas for the channel, just to keep it fresh. Like I might draw sort of other ideas from exploring other art forms. Like I might see something that I wouldn't normally look at and go, oh, that's interesting, maybe I can do something with that. But yeah, it was just a comment that I thought probably a good question. Why is what I'm drawing now defined as art? Why do people like what I draw? The reason I draw it is because it's fun. It's just aesthetically, I think it looks sort of interesting. You can sort of make out what you want from it. And also, I'm not very good at following, like, there's a specific way or specific structure how you're supposed to draw. Like, I've mentioned before that I tried for a long time. I'll say a long time, maybe a year or two, sort of relatively compared to other artists. That's not long, but you know what I mean. Where I tried to draw anatomy and sort of faces, and I just couldn't get the hang of it, and I just thought, and it just got to the point where I thought, this isn't the most fun or interesting thing for me to draw. Like, I couldn't make the faces or characters seem unique. It just looked like a generic face or a generic head, and I just thought the time I would need, or the time it would take me to flesh this out, would just be so long. And then once I've got that down, like the fundamentals down, like what then to make it sort of uniquely my style of art? And I just thought it was just maybe, it's maybe an area of art I should have studied or done at college or at uni. But I never did. I think I always had the idea to marry video games with art, and nothing really existed around video games. It was more concept art and things like that. How you draw like that. Got to go, need some rest. All right, Coob, have a good one. Thanks for joining. Take care, bud. No Name Drafter, how you draw like that? It's to be honest, it's taken a little while to figure out how to draw like this. I mean, I know it's sort of basic shapes, but I've got I've shown this in a previous stream where, so there's this, which is an entire sketchbook, and I've taken pages out of not knowing what I want to draw or how to draw or what my style is. You know, some of my early stuff is stuff like this, and it was just the idea of just getting sort of lines down on paper. Obviously, I draw inspiration from other artists, and I've mentioned in previous videos the main inspiration for this kind of drawing is Peter. I can never pronounce his channel's called Peter Draws, but the artist is Peter Delgdish, and I always feel like I butcher that name. Where I saw his videos, and again, it was just a pure sort of random chance that his channel popped up on my YouTube, or did I go searching for Doodle Art or whatever? I can't remember how I found his channel. And when I watched him draw, he just seemed like somebody who just drew what he wanted. Like, there was no, like, he'd been doing it a long time, and you know, I'm assuming he must have sort of some idea of what he wants to draw, but he just drew. He just whipped out a pen, sketch pad, and drew what he wanted. He just sort of made lines and shapes and thought, don't know what this is yet. And I just loved the freedom that he seemed to have. And I thought, oh, I want to draw like that. But I tried so hard to make my drawings kind of follow rules that, you know, art tends to have. And I just thought, I'm not very good at that. So I think that there was the first few drawings I did, I tried to kind of almost recreate what he'd drawn, but it was just nowhere near as good as his stuff. And it wasn't quite my type of drawing. I thought, that's not me, I'm copying him. So I need to figure out, you know, what I like to draw, what my inspirations are. You know, 2D video games, pixel art, I'm massively inspired by that. But I like drawing with traditional materials. So I just took my time. Yeah, Peter draw. Yeah, draw, but it's not that good. It's one of those where mine wasn't good either at first. I think, yeah. So I got this. I remember buying this. Oh, sugar! My lamp's just fallen all the way on the book. So I got this sketchbook, and I think this was one of the first things I drew. Was that? And it was just playing about. Like, obviously, you can tell this one. Like, I'm trying to recreate what he's doing. And I don't like these. Like, I think, was it this one? I don't mind that one, actually. But which was the first one I recorded? I did record one of these and put it on my other YouTube channel, but I wasn't happy with them. Like, I didn't quite like them, but just exploring. Like, all this book was for was just playing around, just scribble any old stuff down. Like this, I think I recorded this. Now, I don't like it, but I liked that. But there was something in it that I thought, I like using neon colours. Can I make it work somehow? Can I make that into something? There's a load of artists who I followed or I wrote down. But yeah, I just grabbed a sketchbook and just scribbled any old stuff. But then I figured that there's no point trying to draw like Pete, because only he can draw like him. And I need a way to kind of draw with the freedom that he does, with just playing about with shapes and lines, but make it my own. And like I say, that was about just shy of a year ago, maybe 10, 11 months ago. So I got a sketchbook and thought, well, I like drawing uniform patterns and shapes and squares and straight lines. And then this is the sort of folder that I've just shown you, and it's just, this is when I started finding my sort of style. Like, I just put together a load of squares and lines, and it kind of gave an impression of a city or buildings, like futuristic buildings. Like here, it's just a bunch of squares, but you can kind of make it out of something, and I think that's a bit more about a bit further on. But like I say, just all of this. This is an entire sketchbook's worth of drawings. Like here, you can kind of see that's still a bit like Peter's stuff, but then here I'm kind of starting to move away from it. Like I'm starting to find my own thing. So what I would say to you is just keep going. Just keep scribbling on any old stuff down in your books until you find out what you like to draw and stuff that you're happy with. That's all I'd say. You know, what are you inspired by, what do you like, kind of thing. And like I say, I've just loved 2D video games, like shoot 'em ups like R-Type, and Metroidvanias like Axiom Verge and Cyber Shadow, Ori and the Blind Forest, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of my inspiration came from that. Like I love Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I thought, oh, I'd love to draw that or paint that, but it's just not. It's not my style of drawing, and I thought if I could maybe do that in a different way, then, you know, maybe I can develop it out. So that's all I'd say, is just keep going until you find what you like and what you're happy with. That's what I did. I think I did it out of stubbornness as well, because I just had it in my head for so long that you need to be able to draw like anatomy and, you know, have an exact sort of education of how to draw. And, you know, it helps, like your colour theory and shadows and lighting and all that stuff. It absolutely helps. But quote unquote traditional art is it's just not for me. That's and I just always had it in my head, you have to draw that exact, that's the way you have to draw. But thanks stars I found Peter's channel, because that made me think, do you know what? He's clearly got a very successful channel, and he's very successful in what he does, and he's just clearly drawn how he wants to draw. And I thought, well, why can't I do that? So that's exactly what I've started to do. And the thing is, you never know if it's going to be successful unless you try. And if you're going to commit to it, commit all the way, which is what I'm trying to do. And anyone else who comes along for the ride as well, hopefully, someone else like yourself, you might think, well, if he's just drawing whatever he wants, maybe I'll draw whatever I want and see what happens. Coob, who was in earlier, he messaged me and said he started to draw more because he saw my work, which is great. Like, I don't see artists as competitors or anything like that. I've seen some sort of egotistical people who do art, and it's like, no, it shouldn't be about that. I love seeing different people's art. I like seeing what they do with it, and how they draw. It's just really interesting to me. I always love discovering new artists. It's like, if you've got any drawings, I'd love to see them. I think they could be really interesting. And there is I am in the middle of doing a how I draw series, which I'm writing up. That will be out soon. Slightly put on the back burner just because I was sort of neglecting the other main sort of bulk of my drawings, and I thought I need to organise that to make sure I upload regularly, which I've now pretty much sorted. Like, the last couple of weeks I've been really consistent because I've got a timetable in place that I follow. So now I know exactly when my free time is to do other projects. Like, today's one of those days, so after this live stream I'll have all evening until I normally finish to do some other ideas, and one of those things is that I could be working on is the tutorial series. Excuse me. So keep an eye open for that. That might help you. I don't want to sort of label it as how to. This is exactly how you're supposed to draw, because this is just how I draw. I used to draw I can't even get my words out. I used to draw movie characters because I found that really fun to do. And one of the reasons I stopped was I used to get requests to draw like family photos and stuff, which was fine. Like, I did a few commissions, but it just got a bit too grindy. I didn't enjoy it as much. It just took ages. But I did enjoy painting the film characters, but I thought I didn't really have my own style developed at that point. It was just a straight one-to-one, draw it as accurately as I could, and I got some good feedback on it. But I remember somebody said they saw a picture I did on Facebook, thought it was a photo, and just thought, oh yeah, it's a photo of that. And then they went back and realised it wasn't, which was a lovely compliment, but it kind of put me off a little bit because I thought, well, I don't want them to look like photos, because then again, it's like, how do you know that I've done it if it just looks like a picture? So that kind of put me off a little bit, and I thought I need to try and develop a style, which led me to try and learn anatomy, and it was brutal. Brutal. I've still got the sketchbooks. Again, I might go. I might even do a video. Like if I'm gradually getting more and more people subscribing and chatting about it, or asking me questions, I might do a video just to say this is how I landed at drawing stuff like this. Yeah, I've not really thought about what I'm drawing. It's just stick a line here, fill in a bit there. Any more comments? Just the last one from Drafter. But yeah, I second you there, my friend. I also tried drawing like him. Nah, couldn't do it. But I used him as inspiration to draw like me. yeah, I'd say this has definitely given me an idea for tomorrow's sketch. I was hoping to have enough kind of ideas and confidence with my graffiti stuff to maybe do a graffiti piece, but not quite yet. I need to post it on that graffiti page that I've joined, get some feedback for it, or some of the ideas I did last time at least. I wonder if my Pinterest, just have a little break. I'll start to get a few views on the Pinterest ones, but only one person follows me. So I'm just having a minute. Yeah, this is another one where I quite like it. Oh, right. I thought maybe, yeah, I will, just to see. Add a few little sort of thinner pen details in it. See what's what, see what happens. Right. Yeah, let's have a little mess around with some thin pan. I find it harder to draw with a really thin nib. Like it doesn't seem as steady. If there's anyone new in the chat, hello. If there's not, I've just said hello to nobody. Not the neatest of lines, but oops, it's fine, don't matter. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. What time are we on? 5:20. Yeah, that's should about wrap it up. I don't think I can do any more. Well, I could do more, but I think it looks all right. I'm quite happy with that. Let's sign it off. Alrighty, that's number 4. Number 4. And I've done 5 of them, but that was like a test. And 1, 2, 3. Yes, number 4. Okay, so thank you to everybody who joined. Thanks for the kind comments, the likes. Any extra subscribers, always welcome. Always nice to see Coob in here. Good to see No Name Drafter in here. Thanks for coming in and asking some questions. Well, I don't even know if you asked a question, but we had a chat and it was all good. Next live stream is Friday, where I continue the Arteza series. A new sketchbook drawing will be out tomorrow, so look out for that. Thanks again to all who joined. I'll catch you next time.